In the highest tiers of fictional power, battles are no longer decided by strength, speed, or raw destructive capability. At this level, power is defined by authority. Authority over fear. Authority over punishment. Authority over existence itself. This confrontation does not take place on a battlefield. It unfolds beyond time, beyond space, and beyond physical reality. On one side stands true Form Pennywise, the Deadlights, an ancient cosmic predator that feeds on fear and exists outside conventional reality. On the other stands Allrider's Ghost Rider in his absolute form, the unified manifestation of every spirit of vengeance across time and existence. This is not a fight between a monster and a hero. It is a confrontation between cosmic horror and cosmic judgment. One represents terror without morality. The other represents punishment without mercy. When fear itself collides with absolute vengeance, only one principle can remain dominant. True Form Pennywise, the Deadlights explained. True Form Pennywise is not the clown. The dancing clown is merely a projection, a mask designed to interact with human perception. The real entity behind Pennywise is known as IT, an ancient being that exists within Stephen King's Macroverse. Its true form, the Deadlights, is a non-physical, incomprehensible cosmic presence composed of living light and malignant consciousness. The Deadlights exist outside normal reality and beyond linear time. Mortal minds cannot process this form without collapsing. Exposure results in madness, paralysis, or complete loss of self. Pennywise does not overpower opponents through physical force. It dominates through fear, belief, and psychological collapse. Its power intensifies as fear increases. It reshapes reality on a localized level through perception manipulation and feeds on terror as sustenance. However, Pennywise's dominance is conditional. It requires fear, imagination, and belief to fully manifest its power. Against beings that cannot experience fear, or whose authority does not rely on perception, Pennywise's greatest weapon becomes ineffective. Allrider's Ghost Rider, the absolute form of vengeance. Allrider's Ghost Rider is not a single individual. It is the collective convergence of every spirit of vengeance that has ever existed, across past, present, and future. This absolute form represents the moment when Ghost Rider ceases to be a host-bound entity and becomes vengeance itself. Each spirit of vengeance carries divine authority granted to punish sin, guilt, and cosmic wrongdoing. When united, these spirits form a transcendent execution force beyond fear, illusion, and manipulation. This form is not driven by emotion or instinct. It operates on judgment. Hellfire at this level does not burn flesh alone. It burns the soul, the essence, and the moral weight of existence. Allrider's Ghost Rider does not require belief to function. It does not perceive fear. It exists solely to deliver consequence. Illusions fail. Mental domination fails. Psychological warfare fails. Against this form, hiding behind perception becomes meaningless. Power comparison, why this battle is decided by authority. True Form Pennywise dominates beings who fear. Allrider's Ghost Rider cannot fear. Pennywise manipulates belief. Ghost Rider enforces judgment regardless of belief. Pennywise exists as a predator within reality's blind spots. Ghost Rider operates as a law that corrects those blind spots. Pennywise overwhelms minds. Ghost Rider bypasses the mind entirely and targets guilt and accountability. At the highest level of power scaling, authority outweighs influence. Fear is a tool. Judgment is a rule. Pennywise requires psychological engagement to attack. Ghost Rider does not engage. It condemns. The Deadlights collapse perception. The spirit of vengeance ignores perception. This is the core imbalance. Pennywise is terrifying because it attacks how reality is experienced. Allrider's Ghost Rider is unstoppable because it attacks why reality allows something to exist in the first place. At this tier, combat mechanics no longer matter. There is no speed advantage, no reaction window, and no physical exchange. Pennywise does not strike first. It waits. It probes. It infects perception and slowly transforms the battlefield into a psychological nightmare. This method devastates entities that possess identity, emotion, or uncertainty. Allrider's Ghost Rider has none of these weaknesses. This form is not driven by survival instinct or personal will. It functions as a verdict that has already been decided. Pennywise feeds on escalation. Ghost Rider ends escalation. Pennywise bends reality through fear amplification. Ghost Rider nullifies that amplification by rejecting the premise entirely. The Deadlights represent a cosmic truth: reality is fragile when observed by lesser minds. The Spirit of Vengeance represents a greater truth: reality enforces consequence regardless of observation. Pennywise can hide between dimensions, retreat beyond perception, and distort narrative logic. Allrider's Ghost Rider does not chase. It does not search. It manifests where guilt exists. This is not pursuit. It is inevitability. Pennywise survives by exploiting loopholes. Ghost Rider exists to close them. Final verdict: who is more powerful? True Form Pennywise is one of fiction's most dangerous cosmic horror entities. Against mortals, superheroes, and fear-based beings, it is nearly unbeatable. Its ability to erase sanity and weaponize terror places it far above conventional threats. Pennywise does not need to overpower opponents physically. It wins by collapsing identity, turning perception into a prison, and feeding on the terror created in that collapse. Against most characters, this method is absolute. Minds break long before a fight can even begin. However, Allrider's Ghost Rider does not exist on the same axis of power. It is not prey. It is not a victim. It is not a mind to be broken. It is a sentence. This absolute form does not experience fear, confusion, or doubt. It does not interpret reality through emotion or belief. It enforces consequence. In a direct confrontation, Pennywise cannot weaponize fear against something that has no psychological vulnerability. There is no escalation phase. There is no gradual domination. The Deadlights lose relevance when judgment replaces perception, because judgment does not require understanding or belief to function. At the highest tier of power scaling, survival is not determined by how terrifying a being is, but by whether its existence is permitted to continue. Pennywise survives by exploiting weakness, belief, and narrative gaps in reality. Allrider's Ghost Rider exists to erase those gaps. This is not a contest of endurance or adaptability. It is a clash between terror and inevitability. Pennywise represents fear without moral direction. Ghost Rider represents punishment without mercy. When these two concepts collide, fear has nothing left to attach itself to. Therefore, when fear itself stands before absolute vengeance, fear does not win. The encounter does not stretch into a prolonged battle. It resolves the moment authority is asserted. Pennywise can flee, distort, and hide within the shadows of perception, but judgment follows regardless of distance or dimension. In the end, cosmic horror is still subject to consequence. And consequence does not negotiate. Final result: Allrider's Ghost Rider, absolute form, is more powerful. Check out my other videos for more epic character crossovers and battles. Thanks for watching, and stay happy and healthy.